DHM is hands-on missions. My name is Alex Ruth, and I serve as the Associate Director of Disciples Men. Recently, I have been thinking about the story from John 21, 1-14. This passage tells the story of Jesus' third appearance to the disciples along the shore of the Sea of Galilee. Peter decides that he's going to go fishing, and a group of the disciples decide to join with him. After a frustrating night with no fish, the disciples are ready to return to shore when a stranger calls out to them and encourages them to try fishing from the opposite side of the boat. Remarkably, the disciples do what this stranger suggests, and despite the relatively short distance between the two locations of their net, they catch so many fish that they can't even pull the net into the boat. We're told that the disciple whom Jesus loved recognizes that the stranger on the shore is indeed their rabbi and Lord, Jesus himself. He shares this realization with Peter, who immediately jumps out of the boat and swims to shore. Once the other disciples arrive with the boat, they see that Jesus has prepared a meal for them, a meal of fish and loaves on a charcoal fire. And then Jesus invites them to bring some of the fish that they have caught and join him in the meal. The story starts out with the disciples still reeling from the death of Jesus. They have, on 2 occasions, seen their leader, their Lord, but there still seems to be some uncertainty about what will come next. So they, as many of us do as well, they return to what is familiar, fishing, because many of the disciples were commercial fishermen before their call to follow Christ. During this time of crisis, when the convergence of so many difficulties, so many pandemics in our lives, we, like the disciples, long to return to what is familiar. We long to return to in-person worship, fellowship dinners, small group meetings, Sunday school classes, disciples men and disciples women, and so much more. But the stark reality is that our world has likely been forever changed by the events of this year. It's not all that dissimilar from the ways in which the world was dramatically changed with the execution and subsequent resurrection of Jesus. We, like those first disciples, don't exactly know what's going to come next. And it's easy in all that confusion to wonder where Jesus is in the chaos, in the uncertainty. We may feel much like the disciples did during those long hours of fruitless labor fishing through the night. In trying to return to what we once did, we may find ourselves working so very hard and have precious little results to show for it. But there is hope, my friends. Morning is coming. And as the first rays of sun began to light the waters around the disciples, they heard and they responded to Jesus' voice. They tried something different, weird even. And the results, well, they were astounding, miraculous. Now, I don't know if the first rays of morning are dawning in your life or if you are still toiling away in the uncertainty of night. However, regardless of where you are in the story, the promise of God's presence, the guidance of the Spirit, and Jesus' welcome to participate in the meal, those are consistent. God is inviting you to bring your work, to join in the celebration, to sit at the table with Jesus. Come, bring some of the fish you have caught, and together let us work together to build the beloved community of God here on earth as it is in heaven.